Today's inspection was for a disabled vet that wanted to get an RV to live in full time. He had a budget, and so he was looking for something older, and he hired me to do the inspection. What I found was some very concerning items, and one thing that I have never seen during all my years of doing inspections. Hey everybody, it's Deb with Deb's RV Services, and welcome to today's video. I have been so busy doing inspections here in Arizona, I barely have a day free to even make these videos, but I am making sure that I schedule them so that I can give you great content each week. So I had a client that reached out to me, and in fact, he's still looking because he did not buy this RV, and I am so thankful that he hired an inspector to check this RV out. So what we did was we went out and we looked at an older RV. This RV was a 2006 Winnebago Outlook. He just wanted something small and easy to maneuver, nothing fancy. So he found this on Facebook Marketplace and had me come out and meet him. Now he hired me for a checklist inspection consultation, so that way I could teach him while we were going through the RV, so that if this one didn't work out, he could take those skills and move it to the next RV and do it himself. So it was a win-win for both of us. So what we did first was we looked at the exterior. We walked around the whole outside, and I first noticed at the front cap that there were some loose areas and some gaps in the sealant. This was concerning to me because it told me that this was a possible area of water intrusion, and I wanted to take a look on the inside to see if that could validate, and I will get into the interior in a minute. But then when I went around to the rear of the motorhome, we opened up the cargo area, and it was, oh my gosh, you guys, there were signs of water intrusion. But what my client did, because he was this skinny little guy, and he just climbed right in there inside of the cargo, and he pulled everything out, and he got up in there and he pulled away some stuff, and we saw all the rot. It basically scaled all the way down the side of the wall. Now, the interesting thing is that on the outside of the RV, you would think that you would see delamination, but it was really not that noticeable at this point. So there was rot, but it wasn't showing on the exterior, the delam. It showed it on the interior. So you always have to look not only on the outside, but on the inside, and you look for staining. And if you see staining and you can get a deeper look on the inside of that, if you can pull things away, you can a lot of times find that there is indeed water damage. When I got on the roof, what I noticed was one of the rear lights had a huge gap where there was no sealant, and that could have been a possible area of water intrusion. Those lights need to be covered in sealant because anything that is providing electricity to your RV, whether they are rear cameras or lights, they all connect to your 12-volt wires, and there's going to be a hole where water can get in. So there needs to be sealant over top of lights. Those holes where the wires come in for the rear camera need to be sealed as well. So you always want to look in those areas. But one of the other things that was concerning for me was there were a lot of DIY putter butt type of things going on with this RV. And it looked like a prior owner had tried to keep the awning in place. There were fasteners drilled in along the trim rail where the awning is. And I noticed in that same area that the roofing material was lifting. So here's my thought. The prior owner decided to keep the awning up and intact by placing this piece of trim, I'll just call it trim, I don't even know what to call it, and drilling in screws to keep it up. But the screws weren't covered with sealant at all. And whenever you have a fastener, any kind of screw, any type of fastener, you should have some sealant over the top, or you would have like butyl tape behind it, because that way you keep water out. And I don't think this was the case. I didn't see any sign of butyl. There was no sealant over top, and I saw the roofing material coming loose. So that right there was a red flag. But you guys, the biggest red flag I saw, and something that I've never seen before, was with an electrical hazard that could have led to a possible fire. I went over to check the batteries. The batteries are under the steps in these type of units, and a lot of units with Class Cs, you'll find that batteries are under the steps. And I was trying to measure the voltage to find out, if I had proper voltage on shore power and offshore power. There was already an issue, a noticeable issue with 12 volt, because when we put out the slide, I noticed that it was extremely slow. If I see a slide that comes out really slow and it's onshore power, it's telling me that there's something wrong with the batteries. That's usually what is happening. So I immediately went over and I started to look at the batteries, and I was just shocked what I saw. I couldn't even believe it. Like, I've never seen this in all of my years of doing inspections. And it was one of the cables for the positive was just literally laying there, and it wasn't connected to anything. It's like it broke off and they just left it. So it wasn't even connected. Then I was a little perplexed because I was trying to measure the volts on both sides. So it wasn't connected the way it was supposed to be to connect both batteries, but also the solar was connected incorrectly. The negative wire went to the negative terminal, but the positive wire also went to the negative terminal. So the positive is supposed to go to the positive side and the negative goes to the negative side. But whoever did this connected negative to negative and positive to negative. This is completely incorrect. So you have two problems going on here. One is the solar is not connected properly. And the second thing is that a positive cable is just altogether not connected and laying there, just in limbo land. That was highly concerning for me. But then next, I opened up the interior electrical panel and the breakers just fell out. They were not even connected in there. They just kind of fell out. I'm like, oh my God, like this is like a whole mess of electrical issues. This is a whole mess of everything. This is not something that you want to buy. And we knew it. And this was like within the first hour. And we already knew that he wasn't. I said, this is just junk. This is absolute junk. You don't want to buy this. And I could say that because we were on a consult together, by the way. I don't try to influence people. I just need to put that out there on their buying, whether they should buy it or not buy it. But on a consult, absolutely. I'm going to tell you if this is a piece of junk or not. And so he said, I want to use the rest of your time for you to teach me. Because if you teach me, I can go out and look at some other units on my own. And he was a guy that could do his own fix. He wasn't concerned about if a cupboard could not open or if there was something aesthetically not pleasing, a window not working right. He could fix all that. He wasn't concerned about that. He was concerned about the bones of the RV. That's what he told me. I'm concerned about the bones of the RV. I want to make sure that it's got good bones or I'm not going to buy it. So he knew. This is not something he wanted to mess with. We already saw that there was rot. So we took the rest of the time and we went through and I showed him how to test all the systems in the RV and what he needed to look for, how to look for it. And this client of mine had no problem getting up there and taking a look at things. We looked at the front cap area on the inside and we saw all types of water stains and just huge deal breakers with water intrusion. I knew that this whole RV had severe water intrusion. We lifted up the beds. We went behind cabinets. We were looking behind the sink area, and it was difficult to look at. But when I took my flashlight, opened up the drawer, and tried to look behind it, we did see water intrusion had gotten in at some point, and there was some rot back there behind the sink. I mean, it was everywhere. I looked in the shower area, and oh my gosh, like up there at the skylight, it was a mess. I mean, there were so many red flags, you guys. It was kind of funny. And I enjoyed getting footage of this because I knew that it would make a really good video for you and that I could show you what it looked like. He was soaking in all the training. I was showing him how you want to test the water by turning on and seeing if it works on propane and electric. I showed him how I test the microwave, how I test the appliances. And we just went through and we were looking, the tires were outdated, so we knew those had to go. I was showing him what I look for in the chassis compartment. I was showing him how I test the things up front, like the windshield wipers and the air conditioner, and how I test the air conditioner inside the RV, the house part. We tested all of the essentials to make sure that they worked correctly, But really, what he wanted to know is that the bones of this thing was good or not good, and it certainly did not pass an inspection, and he passed on this. So what my client is doing is he is going out there and he is searching for an RV, and he's doing all the things that I taught him to do, and he's going out there to try to find an RV. And he may hire another inspector, depending on where he finds it. It might be me, and if not, it might be somebody in the area that he's looking. But he feels confident that he learned a lot from our session together, that he can make a confident decision whether he should buy or not buy the RV. If you want to learn how to do your own DIY inspection, I have put my workbook on a permanent discount for 2026. So I will leave the link in the description. This workbook is going to help you do your own DIY inspection, and it comes in a PDF format. You can download it, put it on your phone, or you can print it. But it's going to give you clear pictures of what to look for. It's going to give you an order on how to inspect. It's really helpful for people that want to do their own DIY inspection. And if you buy my workbook and you reach out to me, I'll give you a 15-minute free consultation so that I can help you with anything that you need during your own inspection. So the link will be in the description, and I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you on the next one.